the Indian chef is the one. So we kind of do things that we too quick, but I just going to get something that is enough for us, so we may spread it out on that.
floor. There'll be food. I'm going now too. Yeah, there's. Yeah. No, but I'll go with you now. Let's just do it. Please don't tell me that session is just finished now.
It's just finished now.
Oh my God.
But, you know, that's a good sign, right? Okay, yeah. Wow. People really want to talk about the
And modular, that we will not have stuff maybe here.
That is great. So just to remind him, tell him of all the great work you're doing, and if we only had another 50 lawyers, look what we could do. That's wonderful.
So that tells me my position might be dangerous or just thinking at that time. Because I'm not asking which position.
Yeah, and your income is only 180,000.
I wish.
One question, Masha, sorry. So, it's not in there. Mandira is an advisor with
Advocacy Forum.
right, advocacy forum. Jonathan is with Upo is private attorney?
He's private attorney, he works a lot with NGO Right to Life
Attorney
in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, who does a lot of strategic cases.
right,
And Adele is medical action group.
medical action group in the Philippines.
Medical action group in the Philippines. MAC.
Is she a doctor?
She's actually a nurse, but medical professional. Yeah, all others are lawyers.
Cool. You may not slow in time, which is fine.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm Joseph.
Hi, Joseph. I'm Jim.
I'm the cameraman in the back.
Okay.
I think for this afternoon session,
Yeah.
whoever's coming up to speak, if any, should use the wireless handheld mic, which
Okay.
is somewhere around here.
I don't think anyone's going to come up to speak, though.
Okay, so they all handheld?
That's my intention. I haven't spoken to them, but as the moderator,
Okay.
I can try to enforce that rule.
Okay. Have you used these mics before?
No.
Okay. On and off, yeah?
Got it. Got it.
Red lights on?
Got it.
If anybody's asking questions, the mechanism's the same. They have
Got
their,
it.
their buttons.
Okay. Okay.
Just remind them to turn on before.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good. That's it, really.
Super.
Good to go. And so press again, yellow. If there are noise in the speakers, maybe you shouldn't use this one.
Okay.
Just put it away.
Okay.
Thank you. Jim, Adela's leaving tomorrow. She just didn't know
Yeah,
what
that's
day.
the thing.
Oh!
I was like, no, she's even 20. Sorry.
Adele.
Adele. I am. So if you're confused,
Upal. Upal.
Everyone's coming up. The lifts are really slow
I
because there's
know.
a graduation right now as well.
Oh, it's graduation?
Yeah, so everyone's just waiting.
Oh.
So I think I'm going to find
Okay.
finish our talk. I'm sorry.
What's that? Oh,
Yeah. No
Well-
solutions there yet.
well, it's an ongoing process now. I mean, is there something? What do I think? If we should continue doing what we're doing, you know?
So we wait for another 3 years now.
We don't wait, we push, we push, we push. How are you?
Would like to keep these? Yeah, sure.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Your office is where we
Yes.
couldn't find you, but it
Depends on where you sit. Not as nice. That building has pretty much unparalleled.
yeah, yeah.
Just do you work with the students? Yeah. Is that medical action?
The documentation. And sometimes we testify.
Right, okay. You kind of sort of put
And we train the whole city.
No, we're gonna start, yeah.
No one
Okay?
what I
Join
I did, I went to that one. You know, we saw people.
Really?
Yeah, right behind that one. Well, I couldn't find it, but I was told that this was the man who was speaking to one of the Democrat.
how effective any remedies are, whether or not.
He had a good crowd.
Yeah.
We have a very good day in women.
Hello everyone. Oh, sorry, just heard myself on the loudspeaker. Welcome back. Hope you all managed to find some lunch around the campus or well fed. But to shake you out of your post-lunch haze, we have a panel on the right to redress, and we're very fortunate to have 5 leading practitioners and experts from around the world to talk to us about this topic, and really to allow us to step away from our day-to-day and our silos and focus on any particular area to think more broadly, what is the right to redress and what are some strategies for achieving it in Hong Kong and beyond. So without further ado, I will turn to Mr. James Goldson, Executive Director of Open Society Justice Initiative, to moderate this panel and draw out this topic from our panelists.
Thanks so much, Lynette, and welcome everyone. We are here to discuss the right to redress, and we're going to look at some of the challenges and possible strategies to secure redress for survivors of torture. And my colleagues here are really among the best qualified to speak from quite concrete experience in doing that. We have on my far left, Adel Hernandez from Medical Action Group in the Philippines. Then we've got, excellent, yes, keep it coming. Applause is welcome throughout this convening. Then we've got Mandira Sharma from Advocacy Forum in Nepal. And then my colleague Upul Kumaraparuma, an attorney from Sri Lanka. And finally, Jonathan Chang, an attorney at Davis Polk, and who's on the board of Justice Center Hong Kong. Now, again, while applause is welcome, if you do that after everything you say, we may be here quite some time, but your call. So let's begin, if we can, by considering what do we mean by redress. Often, lawyers and doctors and medical professionals respond to a problem presented by a client or a patient with a view to providing a remedy. I can offer a medical solution. I can do surgery for your wound, or if you're injured or have suffered harm, I can help you sue, right? Understandably, doctors, medical professionals, and lawyers, legal professionals, reach for the tools that they're trained in and capable of providing. But redress goes further than simply providing a remedy. Many folks here, and I apologize for belaboring this, but just to be sure we're all on the same page, we know that Article 14 of the Convention Against Torture provides that each state party shall ensure in its legal system that the victim of an act of torture obtains redress and has an enforceable right to fair and adequate compensation, including the means for as full rehabilitation as possible. And in General Comment 3, the Committee Against Torture, overseeing the COT, has clarified further that the term redress in the Convention in Article 14 encompasses the concepts of effective remedy and reparation. And it says that the comprehensive reparative concept entails 5 separate things: restitution, compensation, rehabilitation, satisfaction, and guarantees of non-repetition, so these violations do not recur. So with that shared understanding of what we're talking about, I'd like to turn to the panel members and ask if each of you could provide an example of redress that your client or patient has accessed, with attention to each of those 5 separate components, to what extent you've been able to actually secure one or more of those when you're pursuing redress for someone in a concrete case. So, Upul, can I ask you to begin?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. First, I will speak about my jurisdiction, that is Sri Lanka. We have a Torture Act. That is, the long title of the act is Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. and it is actually, the act was enacted somewhere in 1994 just to eradicate torture from the country, especially with the people who are in the hands of the forces or military or the police. So there is the penal section of the act is section 2, where it says there is a minimum mandatory sentence of 7 years and it can be extended up to 10 years, 7 to 10 year imprisonment, and 10 to 50,000 rupees. 10,000 means it's nearly 10,000 rupees means it's nearly $350. 10,000 to 50,000 as not as compensation but as a fine. That fine goes to the state. It is considered as a state revenue then. So there is no compensation scheme mentioned in this act. Our jurisdiction has introduced another ways to get compensation. One is civil remedy, and civil remedy means you have to go to a civil court and sue against the perpetrators. And the other one is the fundamental rights jurisdiction, where you can get a declaration to the effect that you have been assaulted and your fundamental rights have been violated by the perpetrators, if the perpetrators are from the executive or administrative sector. So in fundamental rights applications, you can ask for compensation, but it is not a very great amount. You have to go to the civil suit to get what you have exactly want to get from the perpetrators. So in terms of restitution, our system is actually it's a very difficult process. If I take civil remedy, it goes up to at least 5 years to get the remedy. It is not a fast track court system in Sri Lanka. It's a very lethargic and slow procedure. Once you file the case, right, the other party is given 6 months time to file the answer. So trial starts after, at least after 1.5 years. So it gets, and there are 2 appeals after the original court case. So at least you have to spend 5 years or 6 years to get the remedy. And there's according to the act itself, there's no rehabilitation process. That is because Sri Lanka, if I say frankly, Sri Lanka is a developing country and the systems are not developed like US or UK or Australia or any other jurisdiction. So we are still, there are no ways, there are no mechanism introduced by the state for the rehabilitation and restitution of the victim. There's no such a procedure. As I will give you another example. During the 88-89 period, at that time I was schooling, nearly 30,000, 40,000 youths were arrested for the insurgency took place in the country during that time, led by the JVP. So these people were tortured. Majority of those people were tortured. Some of the torture chambers were known as killing points. Very recently there was a book launched by a friend of mine who spent 1 year at a torture chamber very close to the southern city of Matara, and he has written a book about what he has met at that torture camp. At one point he says in his book, I delivered the keynote address of the book launch, so I went through the book prior to the keynote address. So he requested me to take a simple piece of what he has written and explained it. So I went page by page. Every page was more cruel than the other previous page. So at one point he says, like, the book is with me, it is in Sinhala. He says, on one afternoon, 2 soldiers came after having a drink. They were fully drunk. People were chained and they were kept under a mango tree. They chose 2 people, 2 detainees, and one came with a sword. And they beheaded those 2 people. And their heads were thrown away to the other garden, the adjoining garden. And at that time, my friend is the writer of this book, my friend was asked to bring the heads back to the camp. He went and he brought the heads like this. Then what happened? I'm sorry. Then they have been kept there for 1 year. And after changing of the government, what do you think? What do you think what the government should have done? What is your opinion? They should have been given rehabilitation because the trauma they had undergone in the said torture camp cannot be explained, cannot be tolerated. So what what happened the next year was, again they had been sent to another detention camp. It was not a torture camp, but they had been detained there. They had been detained just to check whether they were still in connections with, they had maintained connections with the JVP. I mean, at that time JVP was banned and it was prescribed, it was a proscribed organization and it was listed as a terrorist organization. So this is how the rehabilitation work took place in that period of time. Even today, there are instances. Very recently, I did a fundamental rights application. In that case, the man was brought to a police station, and he was kept in a cell. And man was arrested upon a complaint made by another person. It's just a motor accident. His vehicle, this man's vehicle met an accident with another person's vehicle. It's just a motor accident. So thereafter there was a commotion, and the other party was known to the police, So he called the police, and several police people came there and took this man to the custody, and took the person to the police station. And at the police station, this is a remote police station, and you can do whatever you want with the police. That man came with several